Now remember, just because Joe Biden had his amnesty executive order overturned by a great Texas federal judge doesn't mean that the Democrats are quite giving up yet on importing not quite 100 yet, but at least 11 million votes into the near future, and potentially for the next presidential election cycle, because House Democrats seek to include amnesty for illegal aliens in coronavirus relief package. About 100 House Democrats are urging House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to include an amnesty for certain subgroups of illegal aliens in a relief package for Americans impacted by the Chinese coronavirus, the CCP virus, the Kung flu, what have you. A group of House Democrats led by the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, sounds necessary, want to include an amnesty for at least just 5 million? What, the other 6 don't matter? Illegal aliens who consider themselves essential workers. Well, how are you allowed to work legally within the they don't care about legal. My bad. And who are recipients of temporary protected status and the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. Fucking stupid. I hope this doesn't get installed, but who knows, because a group of 10 prominent, at least according to Forbes, senators went and had a sit down with Joe Biden, and there was a lovely little picture there. They were all sitting there in the rather small Oval Office, but they all had their mask on because that's important. Whatever. Kamala Harris was there to, I'm sure, cackle at whatever Joe Biden had to say. I always see her looming in the pictures whenever Joe Biden's signing something. Even more so, because Pence would always stare at Trump and just always had that, just that wide-eyed approval that he would have. And Kamala I think is just waiting for Joe to just grab his chest and fucking heel backwards. Because I'm sure that she's in her spare time just fitting herself for whatever crown she deems appropriate. But anyways, back on focus here, because a group of 10 Republican senators on Monday released details of their $618 billion stimulus proposal intended to counteroffer of the $1.9 trillion. That's a big fucking gap, but the Republicans really just sent Democrats, but they didn't really send their best. So what they were proposing, there were 8 of them, or there were 8 others, and the group of Republicans that went to the Oval Office included Susan Collins and Mitt Romney, which, according to Forbes, backed by prominent Republicans. Mitt Romney and Susan Collins are prominent Republicans. Their names are known by people, but would I necessarily call them influencers in the wider Republican movement? The only movement that they could influence is also sponsored by Dulcolax. So we went through some of the highlights when Joe Biden initially announced his $1.9 trillion spending package. I can't believe that we're at a point where we're talking about things in the trillions of dollars, but this much more reasonable $618 billion package would include aid both parties have called upon. So the proposal grants funding for continuing federally funded unemployment benefits of $300 per week. It seems reasonable, I suppose. The American Rescue Plan would boost them to $400 per week. Well, it's quite a hurdle to overcome. The current unemployment rate is about 6.7%, but don't worry, Biden will just hand wave that away and make that all go away because he's magic. Women are most affected, especially Black and Latino women, because reasons, who are disadvantaged economically because they haven't pumped out enough kids yet, and women accounted for all the jobs lost in the U.S. economy in December, according to a Women's Law Center. Wow, Forbes, you should really just stick to your reporting that the alt-right board, Wall Street bets, are sinking those saviors on Wall Street with their short bets. GOP proposal would expand these benefits until at least June. Biden's proposal would expand them to the end of September. Well, if we're still dealing with this horseshit in September, that should make the Biden plan very, very obvious. In fact, that we even need to be talking about shit until the end of June is preposterous. It's absolutely preposterous. If you're implementing, 1 million vaccines per day, everything should be fucking sewn up here in the next couple of months, and then by the time that the sun is out and the grass is green, we should have this behind us. But I was also thinking the same thing last year this time, so who knows. Cutting the aid by $100 per week and ending it 2 months sooner than under the Biden plan would result in a loss of up to $6,000 in unemployment benefits per worker. You know how you fix that? Open the economy! The GOP proposal also includes another round of stimulus checks for Americans, but would shrink the amount of those checks in the pool of which would be eligible to receive them. Oh no, so your illegal friends aren't going to be getting some free money? That's terrible. The total amount would be $1,000 per person. But you also are getting those $600 checks, which Nancy Pelosi called sizable at the time. With the income threshold phase out starting at $40,000 per year for single filers and $80,000 for married couples filing jointly. Yeah, if you're making decent money, actually it just kind of depends, because $40,000 is probably decent for most of the country. $80,000 for a family, yeah, that's livable for most parts of the country, I would imagine. In Grand Prairie, you can't get into the public library with a salary of $40,000. Trust me, prior to doing this full time, that's the top end of what I ever received. And with rent for a modest shithole of 2-bedroom apartment where you gotta park outside with one parking stall, that would run you about $1,400 to $1,500 a month with no utilities. So individuals would receive payment all at once if they reached a $50,000 income cap, while couples filing jointly would be ineligible once they reach $100,000. Okay, cool. So you don't give rich people or people who don't need the stimulus check money. That's fine. That's fine. Biden's proposal, yes, $1,400 and then eventually in perpetuity, because just stay on the government tit as long as humanly possible. But here's what the Republicans' evil proposal leave out. It doesn't include state and local aid. Oh no, leave that up to the states and the local municipalities. How about that? Something Democrats have insisted on including in the next stimulus package. Well, by all means, defer to your Democratic masters and don't think about what the other side has to put forward. COVID-19 has triggered a severe state budget crisis in blue states, putting funding for crucial services such as K-12 public schools and state workers' salaries at risk. So, badly managed states most affected. Cool. Biden's push to increase the federal minimum wage of $15 per hour for federal workers is also absent from the GOP's proposal. Yeah, they don't want it, so why would it be in their proposal? Despite promising research about the positive research. Okay. Oh, UCLA think tank? Go fuck your mother. Well, all of this could be moot, actually, because there's another story that came out earlier today. So this $600 billion stimulus package is probably just going to be fucking all for naught, because Pelosi and Schumer file resolution to let Democrats pass their relief package without GOP support. I know we've probably beat the Joe Biden executive orders into the ground. Just absolutely beat them like the dead horse Nancy Pelosi looks like. 40 since the 20th. I think it's something like that now at this point. And the fact that they have the votes in the House and the Senate, but they're filing a resolution to just fast track this because they're not dictators. They're definitely not dictators. This is definitely not something a tyrannical government would do. No, they wouldn't even consider it. Democratic congressional leaders on Monday introduced a budget resolution that will let lawmakers pass a fresh COVID-19 relief package without any Republican support. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced the joint budget resolution. The measure is the first step in potentially enacting a budget reconciliation bill, which would let Democrats pass the package even if no Republicans back it, because they hold majorities in both the House of Representatives and the Senate. Well, thank God they aren't getting rid of the filibuster in the Senate, because they definitely love to hear what both sides of the aisle have to say on matters, unless it's something that they really want to push through, something that is definitely not stuffed to the brim with social justice horseshit, and something that will push this recession out for years to come, at least for the rest of Biden's administration. And we could continue to go on with this, and I'm sure it'll pass through the House, and it will make the Democrats look fucking retarded, and Jen Psaki can and circle back to you on that one, and the media will just champion this as just being the greatest thing since forever. But we all know that it's really crumbling at a rapid pace right now, because pretty much everything that Joe Biden and his administration have done is not going out to a roaring success right now, unless you're the fucking Hill. I shit you not. Because apparently, not only is the most popular politician of all time getting 81 million votes, even right now, as Biden begins a term, he has a 49% approval rating, according to a Marist poll. Marists are terrible at literally everything, and it's no surprise. Everybody told you guys that the media would be gaslighting you in regards to how popular and how well received Joe Biden is, and this right here is just proof. The Hill sucks a closet full of dicks. I used to think that they were about middle of the road, and then they've just kind of veered right into leftism. We've covered their downfall, but this just really reinforces it, because if you just go to Rasmussen, you at least get the rest of the story. 33% of people strongly approve of Biden's job and 38% strongly disapprove. And he also has a 46% disapproval rate. And that's just for people who answered the polls. Rasmussen was normally pretty good, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. They're also saying that 49% of likely U.S. voters approve of Joe Biden's job performance. But there's the rest of the statistics. Okay, half the people like him, half the people really don't. And he's already declining with an average with a presidential approval index rating of -5. It's not positive, and these polls are about 2 weeks behind anyways. 2 weeks or 10 days, I can't remember what it is, but they're just slightly behind, so they're catching up as well. So to just champion him as being, oh, he's got a 49% approval rating, doesn't tell all the stories. But that's why you just got to do your homework, because you're never going to get the straight answer from those old haggard-ass media outlets. So yeah, that wraps up the Democratic overreach. Democratic meaning the party. Their entire overreach when it comes to being open to working with both sides of the aisle, because, you know what, they'll just feign ignorance. They'll just invite in fucking Susan Collins and Mitt Romney to think that, oh, we're talking to the GOP base in order to try to figure some stuff out. And then, yeah, with the other end at the same time, you got Chucky Schumer and you got Nancy Pelosi just passing a bill or a House resolution in order to make sure that, whatever you guys are talking about in the White House with Grandpa, yeah, it really doesn't matter. So we're just going to go ahead and go with our bill anyways. $1.9 trillion. Here we come. It's not like it's going to come out of my salary. Just Nancy Pelosi's great grandchildren will probably still be paying that off. But at that time, they'll probably be Speaker of the House. And her head will be in a jar right next to the gavel, like Futurama style. So whatever. They're overplaying their hand at a rapid rate. We anticipated all of this stuff beforehand. And yeah, they're really making it easy to timeline this shit out. It's going to be a fun 4 years, guys, and we aren't even a month into it yet. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.